viewers, you are watching OBN Horn of Africa, our weekly program Invest in Ethiopia. Today we will be discussing coffee production in Ethiopia. To discuss these issues, I joined by Dr. Adugna Debela, Director General of Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority. Till the end of our program, stay tuned. Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, let me begin with this question. Ethiopian coffee export registered record this fiscal year by earning over $1.4 billion. What contributed to the remarkable coffee performance of this year?
Thank you so much. Ethiopian coffee export has earned about 1.4 billion USD. And the main reason, and there are the factors behind these achievements, are a number of activities are done. One of them is Ethiopia Coffee and Tea Authority has reformed its coffee value chain, or the marketing structure of the coffee. And in the previous case, there are a number of non-value adding steps between the farmer and the exporters, in such a way that the volume decreases, the quality deteriorates, as well as the payback to the farmer is not sufficient enough, and that discourages the farmer. So what we did is we reduced this long value chain and identified the main important actors in the value chain: the farmer, supplier, and also the exporter. So the farmers, they are allowed to supply coffee to the supplier, and the supplier to directly to the exporter. So this the value chain is reduced, the efficiency is improved, the quality is improved, and in this allowed us to get sufficient amount of foreign currency from exporting about 300,000 metric tons. This is one of the activity. The other most important activity that we've done is there is a very coordinated activities that we are undertaking with a number of partners, with a number of stakeholders, and every day now and then any problems that the exporters are encountering is immediately solved by the different partners. So these are also some of the activities have been done in order to achieve this very high and record high foreign currency earnings this year.
Okay, thank you. As you know, coffee is deeply woven into Ethiopia's cultural fabric and plays a central role in Ethiopia's economy. How do you describe this?
You know, Ethiopia coffee and coffee from Ethiopia is not easy to differentiate, because, you know, coffee is a human, it's our culture, it's also our social fabric, and it's also our beyond our economy. And, you know, more than 25% of our population are entirely, their livelihood is entirely depending on coffee. So it's not only about the culture, it's not only about the social, it's beyond that. And Ethiopia is known in the world by the brand name of Ethiopian coffee. And the Ethiopia is also the birthplace and the genetic diversity of Arabica coffee. So it's not easy really to differentiate Ethiopia from coffee and the coffee from Ethiopia.
At a recent ceremony recognizing the country's top coffee producers, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed urged all stakeholders in coffee industry to build on this success and strive for even greater national achievements. So how have you been working with stakeholders for better achievement, or to realize what the PM noted?
Yeah, you know, the marketing structure we've reformed it in the coffee value chain, brought the most important actors to the front desk. And among them, the exporters, suppliers, and also the farmer, they are the one having a very big stake. And Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority wanted to recognize those who have performed their level best in order to achieve this high level foreign currency earnings. Okay, so we recognized these suppliers, farmers, and also the exporters in front of our Prime Minister as the guest of honor. And the Prime Minister asked the stakeholders, we have a potential and we have not yet exploited it. And this untapped resource can be further exploited if we jointly work together. And so the Prime Minister asked them to really work hand in hand in order to further export too much amount of coffee and secure more than 2 billion USD for this year.
So, what's your cooperation with these stakeholders to achieve the intended goal? What you have been doing with them?
We have a platform where we meet every week with this stakeholder, and not only the supplier exporter and also the farmers, but also partners like the National Bank, the Custom, the Transport and Logistic Minister, the Maritime, Ethiopia. We have a weekly platform where we meet and discuss all the details. So these stakeholders are part and parcel of this platform, and they raise the problems that they actually face within their week. And all the stakeholders within the platform are there to solve the problems that usually the exporter or suppliers come across. So in this case, we work together in order to facilitate and make everything easy for them to export coffee.
Okay, let me come to this year's coffee production. What is the current productivity of coffee farmers, and how much land is cultivated with the crop currently?
For the budget year 2015-16, we produced about 100 metric tons of coffee, out of which 300 is exported, and the remaining is used in the local market. But for the production year of 2016-2017, we almost got about 1 million metric tons of coffee. So we're planning more than 300,000 coffee to be exported to international market. And the productivity, of course, as compared to all other countries, the productivity is quite low, but we're doing our level best to further improve the productivity from 8 to 10 to 12. So at farm level, there are farmers who are producing about 19 quintal per hectare, but in our case, the average is not more than 10 quintal per hectare.
Well, the majority of specialty coffee varieties are from Oromia, Sidama, and South regions. Are there plans to expand it to other regions? What you have been doing in this regard?
Yeah, the largest proportion of coffee that we export to international markets, they are coming from Oromia. It's about 70%, Sidama and Gedio, and also the southwestern part of the country. But if you go to Guji, RC, Bale, and Nansabo, particularly Worka, these are the new belt for new coffee production. And the quality of the coffee that's produced in this specific area are really quite commendable. And then, you know, the Cup of Excellence, these coffees, they are the one who won the presidential award and also the Cup of Excellence win. So it's not only the previous coffee production area, we have already identified a new belt where we can expand and develop coffee on this very special area to produce high-end quality coffees.
You have raised that cup of excellence coffee, and how do you reconcile the difference in specialty coffee price sold in the international market and those seen at the cup of excellence competition?
You know, in international coffee markets, we usually send in volume. So it's not much, because if you send in volume, the quality of course decreases and the price goes down. But in the Cup of Excellence, only high-end, less volume coffees are competing. And in this case, it's only meant for the farmers, not the supplier, not the exporter. Therefore, farmers who are producing a very good quality coffee, regardless of the volume, it would be 1 quintal, it could be 5 quintal. So they can compete for the international, this Cup of Excellence. And it's not about the volume. What is most important in Cup of Excellence is the quality of the coffee. Last year, if you remember, 1 kg of Ethiopian coffee was sold at $1,000, or it is about 103,000 Ethiopian birr. So this is also a remarkable achievement. And the farmers who got the chance to get themselves compete in this very specific and very reputable competition, they are getting a very good payback and the benefit out of that.
Well, on the recent recognition, you've raised that more than 1,000 farmers started to directly send their products to the international markets. What is its significance and implications?
Yeah, the high-performing suppliers, farmers, and also experts were recognized in this very special event. And, we opened up a chance for the farmers to directly export coffee to the international market. And more than 2,000 farmers, they already got export license, out of which some of them are very successful. So in this case, there are farmers who exported more than $1 million and $1.5 million and more. And we need to recognize these farmers to be as a model and exemplary for the other model, for the other farmers. So they took their recognition from the Prime Minister. That is to mean that the other farmers can also think is that way. Okay, is that possible to really export coffee and get recognition from the government? So these are the intention behind recognizing the farmers who exported coffee directly to the international markets.
Good. One of the challenges seen in this sector is illegal market or contraband. How have you been working to control this legal market or contraband?
The most important and quite challenging problem in Ethiopian coffee market is illegal trade and contraband, because Ethiopia is consuming the largest proportion of coffee here in the country, and there is always competition between the international markets and the local market. And the farmers or suppliers or the smugglers who are actually doing on this, getting themselves engaged on this kind of illegal trade, they usually reduce the quality as well as the volume of coffee that we export to international market. As Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority, we developed a technology or application in which case a coffee from the Warada part is escorted to Djibouti, so that once it is in our system, it cannot go anywhere, because it's easy to track and trace exactly where that coffee is coming and where that coffee is going. But if they are not willing to register that coffee into our own system, it's not no way that we can trace them. But this time, we significantly reduced the amount of illegal trade and also as well as the contraband. Another important is that there is a team following this illegal trade and contraband, like, for example, the Addis Ababa police, Oromia police, Ethiopia Coffee and Tea Authority, the custom. So we work together and follow up day to day on hunting these illegal and contraband coffees that are actually coming to Addis. This time, the government has reformed the economy, and that economy also favors the export, not the local and the legal trade. And this is also another approach that the macroeconomic reform is brought to change and reduce the amount of what you call it, the illegal trade and contraband. So these are some of the procedures or some of the activities that we have taken so far in order to reduce the illegal trade and contraband.
Well, as you know, some countries without having coffee production have been earning a huge amount of dollars by adding value to the coffee and exporting it. So can Ethiopia manage to begin exporting meaningful amount of value-added coffee?
What is most important in this case is to create a very enabling environment, like, for example, proclamation, regulation, and also directives. In our previous coffee marketing system, we usually focus on the green coffee, not on the value-added one. So what we've done is we've developed a regulation on how to really add value and export value to the international markets, and also that regulation has been further expanded into directive. So there is now a very enabling environment, directives on how to manage the coffee value addition, on how to export the coffee value addition. Not only that to the international market, but also we have opened up a chance for the value adding companies to sell coffee in Ethiopia with the foreign currencies. So we have already started to mobilize investors into get into this system, but still the volume is not as such significant. In the coming 2 to 3 years, hopefully the volume increases to a meaningful level.
Thank you. When it comes to producing quality coffee products and exporting them to European or other countries, what Ethiopia is doing about this issue?
On how to improve the quality is, as coffee producing country and a country which is competing in the international market, we need to focus not only on the volume, but also on the quality of coffees that we produce. Most of the coffees that we produce are all the coffee. And this time we've started to mobilize the mobilization process, in which case we remove all the coffee trees and plant with high yield quality varieties. So this is also an attempt in order to improve the quality of coffee. The other one is we have opened up, as an authority, we have opened up our cupping center to quite close to the farmer. Now we have a cupping center at Mattu, at Bedele, Bonga, we have Jimma, Hawassa, and we're going to open a cupping center at Bulehora, Dilla, Mizan, and Tepi. So we are quite close to, if we are coming close to the farmers, we teach them how to produce a very good quality. And at the same time, we test and give grade for the coffee that is produced from that specific area. So this is the way how we're planning to improve the quality of coffee we export to international market.
Well, in terms of investments, what is the current status of investments coming into the processed coffee sector?
The government has already opened up or liberalized the coffee sector too, so that the foreign investors, FDI, they can come and invest here in our country. So far, there are a number of applicants which have already applied to invest in Ethiopia to the Investment Commission. And then we're going to manage, based on the criteria that already been indicated there, who is going to get the chance will be finally decided by the Investment Commission. But there is huge chance for the foreign direct investment and for the foreign investor to invest in Ethiopia.
Okay, you have tried to raise about the macroeconomic reform. And how do you see the impact of the recent financial reforms on coffee investment in general and the coffee export trade in particular?
As I already indicated that the recent reform in macroeconomy is favoring export. And the difference in the dollar and our current birr have been changed 100 times. So for the coffee exporter, rather than selling here as a contraband or a legal trade in the country, it's quite profitable to sell to the international market. And if you see from our coffee performance, for the last 3 months, we have exported about 150,000 metric tons of coffee to the international market, which is the largest volume which have been exported ever. And we got already about 520 million USD. So this is some of the indication of this policy reform. And I hope this will continue in the coming months too.
As you're leading the Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority, how do you measure Ethiopia's right policy direction and efficient strategy for coffee development to be competent at international markets?
Yeah, the country has its own policy for production, exports, and also marketing. In my previous speech, I already clearly indicated that all the policies that we were using for decades were not, it was not really very encouraging for the farmer and the supplier and the exporter to export coffee and even to produce coffee, because the farmers were not allowed to export coffee to international market. They were allowed only to sell coffee at their farm gate level. And that's to mean that they do not have any bargaining power on the price negotiation. This discouraged the farmers, and then the farmers uprooted their coffee and planted chat or eucalyptus trees. But this policy needs to be reformed. And as a government, we managed to reform that policy. If the farmer is able to produce high quality, high volume coffee, why should we stop them not to export to international market? Why should we force them to sell at their farm gate level? Why do we really snatch their bargaining power? So this kind of discussion were taken into consideration, and now the policy has been reformed that created a very enabling environment for the farmer to export directly to the international market. Some of the farmers who got recognition last year are some of the exporters who used this opportunity to export coffee. This time it's okay, and now the government has already liberalized to produce coffee in for the investors to produce coffee or to invest in coffee or to directly buy coffee and export to the international market. This time that's okay, but the previous policy was not encouraging for the farmer, particularly the FOB price that was paid back to the farmer was not more than 40%. This time, after the policy has been reformed, the payback of the farmer increased from 40% to 80, 90%. And this, so if you go to Ilwababor or if you go to Jimma, you can find the farmers who are currently producing coffee in cluster. This is also one of the indications that this policy, the policy that have been reformed already, is very enabling and supports them to produce or to engage themselves into a coffee production system.
Okay, what is expected from stakeholders at different levels, especially at regional levels, to encourage farmers produce quality coffee that meets the international market?
As an authority, we have branches down to the farmer level, and we're closely working with regions and also zonal administratives. So we're giving them training, support them in providing inputs, and we find a market for them and also organize some sort of exhibitions in order to at least bring to the attention of the farmer on how to market the international system. So this kind of collaboration need to be continued ahead. And this supports the farmer to produce high-end quality coffee. At this moment, the Oromia government is really doing its level best in order to produce a very good quality coffee, because we launched a coffee quality declaration in Nagant with His Excellency President Shivalis Abdisa and his team. Now they are busy working on how to further improve and support the farmer. So the farmers who are producing coffee from decade, if they got the chance to be supported, they produce a high-end quality coffee and enter into market. And this will entirely boost our coffee export as well as the foreign currency earnings that we are expecting.
Finally, if you have any message to add, you're welcome.
Yes, so for coffee to be produced and exported, still the potential is there. And we have not yet exploited this untapped resource. And the policy which has been reformed right now is quite enabling and is creating very enabling environment for all stakeholders along the value chain. So being the illegal trade and contraband is also counteracted by the currently reformed policy and the market economy. So there is high chance for the farmer, supplier, and exporter to export and compete in the international market and get benefit out of that. And let's stick to this policy. Let's stick to this very enabling environments and work together so that Ethiopia can benefit from coffee. And we're going to be, I'm sure that we're going to be the second or the third largest coffee producer in the world. This time, now we are the third country producing the highest coffee volume after Brazil and Vietnam. And we will be catching Vietnam in very soon if we keep on doing that in this kind of coordination system. Let's stick and work together.
Dr. Adugna Debela, Director General of Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority, thank you for your time and a deep insight on our program.
Thank you so much for inviting me once again. Bye-bye.
Okay. Dear viewers, that's all what we have for today. See you next time with another program. Till then, bye-bye.